Good afternoon. This is European Medicines Agency. My name is Anna Fiodorova, and I would like to welcome you to the fourth webinar organized by the Parallel Distribution Secretariat. Today's demonstration will focus on the submission of the annual update, which is the last parallel distribution procedure to be released in IRIS. The procedure will be live and ready for use on Thursday, the 2nd of May. Today, I will introduce you to the submission of two types of annual updates, which is a no-change annual update and a regular notification of annual update. And later on, we will also update you on the revised guidance material as well as the contact points. And we shall now proceed with the demonstration. I will do the demonstration in the test environment, which is a little different from what you will see when you log into IRIS with your personal credentials. I have already done so, and I'm in the test environment. Another thing for you to note is, as we continuously working on improving the platform, you may notice that over time some sections or field labels will be changing, and this is absolutely normal. However, if you have any doubts or questions, please contact the Parallel Distribution Secretariat for any general inquiries. While for technical support, please get in touch directly with the EMA service desk. So I'll begin today the demonstration with the most straightforward type of annual update, which is a no-change annual update. I would like also to take an opportunity to remind you that dormancy is no longer reported with the annual update. Instead, you are requested to submit update of parallel distribution notice status, while reactivation is still done via annual updates. So we are already in the test environment on a home page, and to start submitting, we go to draft submissions and start creating a new draft by clicking the blue button, New Draft. We select Organization as an applicant and click Next. On the next page, you are requested to select the organization, select the location, and the submission type, in this case, will be Annual Update. Please bear in mind once again that this is a test environment and the list of procedures is slightly different from what you will see when you log in with your credentials. Select. Next step is just to add a manager and create and next. At this particular moment, the system is creating a draft submission on the back end, so it may take some time before you are invited to move to the next step, where you will be requested or actually offered to add contributors. Let's add contributor for the purpose of the demonstration. Tick on the person you'd like to add, click Select, and Add. And continue to submission form. The system has now taken us to a draft submission form. You can see on the right side that we are submitting annual update. It's always worth taking a note of the reference number of the annual update which you are drafting. In this case, it's 5307. On the left side, you see the customer details, which is the applicant details. And we have a list of sections in blue, which we have to fill in order to proceed with the submission. So we start with adding parallel distributor information. Please provide the purchase reference number, purchase order or reference number, which is a number which will appear in the invoices, something absolutely free for you to create. Then provide a customer number. This is the mock data again. Click Save and Return. When the field is populated, a tick appears next to it. Next section is the Parallel Distribution Notice details. You are here requested to indicate the product, the pharmaceutical form, and a member state of destination for which you will be submitting the annual update. Let's select a product. Click Select. Add the pharmaceutical form of the product. It's always worth using asterisks in front of this search keyword or after the keyword to facilitate the search. So this is eye drop suspension. Click and select. And let's add member state of destination. Select. And select all notices. The system has now picked up the EU number 001, for which we will be submitting a no change annual update. Click Return. If you are submitting a no change annual update, the only thing you are required to do at this stage is to provide the annex date or the product information date which you have used, and this will complete the submission as no other documents will be required. So we continue to documents from industry section. We will not be adding any documents as mentioned before. No change requires no documents. We will not be providing a report. We will, however, include the date of the annexes we have used. It's a random data. We click Save and Return to come back to the main page. Documents from the EMA section will later contain documents created by the agency and shared with you. These will be the notice letters or any of the documents we may deem necessary sharing with you. We proceed to declaration and tick the boxes which are identical to the boxes you have seen in initial notification and safety update. This will conclude our submission, and we will only be required to submit the form by ticking on the last tick box and proceeding to declaration and submission. At this stage, you have been given last chance to return and review application before you submit it. If you're sure you want to proceed, please click Submit. This now concludes the submission of annual update with no change. The system has taken you to ongoing submissions, and you can see your most recently submitted application right on the top. I'm refreshing the web page so we could see it. So that's our annual update. It may take some time. You might need as well to refresh the browser page, or you can sort the list by clicking Modified On, which will bring the most recent submission on the top of the list. You can also click and edit the submission, add managers, or add contributors. We will now continue and demonstrate to you submission of the annual update with scopes of changes. So we go to Draft Submissions to create a new draft. Click New Draft and complete the steps identical to those we have just completed while submitting a no change annual update. So we select Organization, Location, and Submission Type is Annual Update. Select. We add a manager, select, create, and next. And once again, we should wait while the system creates a draft submission on the back end. Please bear with us while the system does it. Now you have moved to the next stage where you are asked to add contributors. We will not be adding contributors this time, so we'll continue to submission form. System takes us to the draft submission. We are again in the annual update, and it's worth taking a note of the reference number, particularly now as we are submitting annual update with changes, as every change will require you to draft a separate submission, which you will then link to this annual update. So please do take a note of the procedure reference number for your annual update, or as we often refer to it, parent submission. So let's provide Parallel Distributors information. Add a purchase order number, provide the customer number, and click Save and Return. Provide the details of the parallel distribution notice, so we'll do exactly the same as we have done when I've been demonstrating you submission of a no change annual update. Select the product, select the respective pharmaceutical form of the product. This is eye drop suspension. Select, add member state of destination. Select and continue. The system will bring you all notices for ASOPT eye drop suspension with member state of destination Czech Republic. So you have indicated the EU presentations for which you will be reporting changes. Click Return to come back to the main page. Continue filling in the next section, which is document from the industry. Here you'll be required to provide a list of documents. Let's add files. Choose files. Add a test document. Add files. Tick the box confirming that you have added all required documentation. Tick the box yes or no to confirm whether you have provided text comparison report. And provide the date of the annex which you have used. Save and return to come back to the main page. Now, if you wish to report changes, you would stop drafting your parent submission here and will go to the draft submissions and draft a related submission where you will report scopes of changes. So click on draft submissions and complete the steps as before. Select the organization. Add the organization name, location, submission type. In this case will be annual update scopes of change, as we will now be reporting scopes of changes. Click Select. Add Manager. Click Create and Next. Please note that as you will be reporting more changes, this step will be eliminated, and I will show you how you could create a clone submission for the scopes of change, which will save you some time. So we again move to the step where you are offered an option to add contributors. However, we will not be doing that in this particular demonstration. So the system takes us to submission form for the scopes of change of annual update. Can you see your customer details on the left side? The blue sections have to be populated in order to unlock the scopes of changes which are now deactivated. So we need to quote the annual update reference number which we have left in draft. Let's click on the link and provide the reference number of the annual update to which we will be linking the changes. Sort the list of draft submissions by create on date to show you the last draft on the top of the list. That's the annual update to which we will be linking the scopes of change. Click Select to continue. Now save and return. Now we should provide the EU presentations or notices for which we will be reporting the changes. Let's add. Now, you will see here the EU presentations which you have included in your draft annual submission or parent submission, which is now left in a draft mode. Click Add. Save and return. This has now unlocked the scopes of changes. So for the purpose of this demonstration, let's add repackager to the EU number which we have indicated just above. Click Add to select the repackagers which you wish to add to that presentation. Click Save and Return to come back to the main page. And let's say we shall also add the new country of origin. Click Add and select countries which you wish to add. Click Save and Return. If you have completed reporting changes for that particular EU presentation, you can now proceed to declaration and click the tick box to confirm and save and return. We should go now back to draft submissions, find the annual update to which we have just linked the scopes of change, this scope of change, and see how it looks. In the related submission, you can now see the scopes of change related to that submission. Let's go back to the draft submissions and create one more scope of change, different from the one which you have just reported. And we will do this by cloning the most recent scope of change. So right-click and select Clone Submission. This will save you a step where you would normally require to add organization details, the address, to add managers, etc. So sort the list by modified on date. I'll click Refresh button a couple of times for the cloned record to appear. And you can now see the new submission on top of the list. Let's click Edit Draft. This immediately brings you to the submission form for the scope of change. You should now again link the scope of change to the annual update. Let's sort the draft submission list by the created on date. That brings our annual update to the top. We click Select and Save and Return. Now we should provide the EU numbers to which we will be reporting the changes. Click Add, and the system again will bring you the U numbers which are left from those which you have indicated in the annual update submission. You click Add and save and return to come back to the main page. And for this presentation, say we wish to add country of destination. We click Add and add Austria. To finish reporting the changes, return to the main window, click the declaration, confirm, and save and return. Now let's go back to our annual update and submit it together with the scopes of change which we have reported. That's our annual update. Let's click Edit, and below we see a list of related scopes of change. To continue with submission, go to the Declaration section, click all three tick boxes, save and return. You are now ready to submit annual update with the scopes of changes. Click to submit submission, tick to confirm, proceed to declaration and submission. You are once again given a last chance to return and review your application before submitting. If you're sure all provided documents are correct, you can now proceed and submit. The system has taken you back to ongoing submission list. You may need again refresh the page or to click modified on in order to sort the list by the most recent date. And that brings our annual update to the list. This concludes our demonstration today, and I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that the updated step-by-step guide will be published on the EMA website. And this recording will be made available on the events section of the EMA website in the next couple of weeks. Another reminder that for registration, login support, or any technical issues, please get in touch with the EMA service desk at the link you're seeing on the screen now. While for general apparel distribution related queries, as usual, get in touch with our team at paralleldistribution@ema.europa.eu. This concludes this demo today. We thank you for joining us and would like to wish you a pleasant day. Thank you and goodbye.